Hey, everybody, welcome to this morning. We're glad to have you here. We kind of had a rough day. We would get our hair all straight and all that kind of stuff. But hey, this whole thing is going to sometimes come to an end, right? The crisis is going to come to pass. It's going to kind of wind up on the end. Hey, Dave Hobley, glad to have you on here. One of the things that I found in this process is that people have learned new things. In the midst of things that seemed haywire or gone bad or gone wrong or went sideways or made life inconvenient, is that for a lot of people, this has been an opportunity to learn something, to do something new, to learn something different, to change maybe a bad habit that had developed unknown to them. Maybe helped us find a better way to do something that we didn't realize we would have to do because it was forced on us. I don't know what your story is and what may have come about in your life during this crisis, but what are you thinking about you're going to do when the crisis is over? What do you think you're going to do when the crisis is over? You're going to go back to doing things the same way you always did things? Are you going to change something? Are you going to try something that you learned in the crisis that maybe can change your future? Give me a comment in the chat box. Let me know as we talk. As we take just a few moments to think about what could I do different that I've learned in the crisis. What would I do different that I've learned in the crisis now that it appears that at some point here the crisis is going to be over? The president's talking about it, governors are talking about it, local business people are talking about it. What's going to happen when the crisis is over? And so, what are you going to do when the crisis is over? Are you going to go celebrate? Are you going to take what you learned during the crisis and apply it to something different or new for yourself? Are you going to go back to doing the things the way you always did them? Give us a comment in the chat box. I'd love to hear what you're thinking about those things. What are you thinking? All right. Need to expand your options. Need somebody to listen to an idea. Sometimes I think that happens in the process. Hey, Eric, good morning. He says, I learned that I wasn't as bad a germaphobe as I thought. Yeah. Okay. Right. Part of the process for people, is like Eric said, not lose my focus. It's part of people and part of their job plays off of what happens to other things around them. And when you don't have that, when you're suddenly sucked into this vortex of you can't do anything, and it's easy to lose focus. It's easy to get off balance. It's easy to get off track. So what did you learn, or what could you have learned in this crisis that you can go back? I'm going to go back to doing this, or I found I could do things differently, and that's going to help me do things better down the road. So for some people in this process, they might have been high risk. Maybe they're at the right age that this is more susceptible to it. Maybe their health conditions demonstrate that. Maybe their economics, right? For some people, they realize, hey, I can work from home. This is not such a bad thing. They've never worked from home before. Others of us, like Eric and myself, who work from home a lot, it's like, okay, enough is enough already. Okay, we got to have some people time with people. Even though I'm not a big people person, it kind of gets old when you can't go anywhere, do anything with people, and you can't have a conversation. You kind of have to stay away from them, and you can't get up close to them and all that kind of stuff. You wonder about all that in the process. How's it changed that? How's it going to change things for you in the future after this? So that's one of the things I think for some people, the biggest struggle has been is this whole change in their connections to other people. You still, when I do walk in to talk to business owners about what they're trying to get done, you still want to shake hands, and you have to stop and think, no, I can't do that, or touch elbows, or do the feet thing. I learned a new way to shake hands by shaking feet. That kind of thing. You find these things out along the way in the process, right? In the process. So, did you have a new idea that you learned in this process of saying, you know what, I found that I'm really good at this. I didn't know I was, but this kind of forced it. So I think I'm going to keep doing that when this is over. Like Dave said, hey, maybe work more from home instead of going out into the public. Or maybe you've learned that you had a certain skill or ability that during this time really brought to light your ability to help other people by doing something a certain way. Maybe a skill you learned in the process, right? Maybe a skill you learned in the process. But whatever it is, the whole point, I'm not here to talk a long time. I just want to jump on here and say, if you've come up with that and as the crisis is kind of ending, you're thinking, okay, am I going to go back to work? Yeah, I'm learning how much I really want it. As I go back to the crisis is over and things kind of go back to some sense of normalcy. And of course, I think everybody understands it's not going to be like it was before. There's always going to be in your mind this floating around until we get comfortable with the newness of living life after the virus, after the scare, after the crisis, kind of like it was in 9/11. We had to learn to live life differently. Things that we took for granted and normal became different and changed, and it was sometimes, some of it was aggravating, some of it wasn't. But if you find yourself looking at that place to say, what could I do different? Just take a moment, and if you want to book a time to just have a chat, to just say, hey, I'd like to talk about this. I'd like to just talk about some ideas, or maybe I'm contemplating something, and you just need somebody to bounce ideas off of. I can certainly help you think that way and work through that, and just come out the other side going, this is something I could do, so that I don't get caught. I don't get caught in this situation again, because if we haven't learned anything, we should learn from this, that life goes through cycles. We go through seasons, and things are going to come around. There'll be another crisis of some kind. See, we had a pandemic 10 years ago, but it was different than this. And before that, we had a 9/11 crisis, and before that, we had a stock market crisis, and before that, we had a war crisis. You see, we go through cycles. They just affect us differently. There's an opportunity for you to think, okay, what can I do different so that when it happens again, I'm better prepared. I'm better prepared to take care of my family, to take care of my employment, to take care of my future, to take care of my finances, take care of my health. What can I do better? And you'd like to talk, you can just go right there and book a time, and hey, we'll just have a chat. Hey, thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you soon. We've been on there a little longer than I wanted to, but thanks for the conversation. If you're watching on the replay, you can put your comments in as well. I'll read all those. I'll come back and read those, and I'll respond to you. But again, thanks for being with us. Hope you have a good day today, right? Hope you have a good day today, and that you make a difference in your world, wherever you are, in your house, with the people you work with. Go make a difference today. See you soon.